Hi, guys. Good to see everyone here. And sorry about the confusion. For some reason, StreamYard is playing games with me again. So we'll try to fix that next week. And hey, Mark. Good to see you. Patrick, Melvin. Hey, Patty. Okay, Gary. Good to see everyone. Oh, Sandy. Okay, I'm scrolling up here. Leonard. Wow, good to see everyone. And there's Jeff. All right. Okay, this evening we have two special guests, two friends, and I'm so happy that they agreed to come on. PYRO and Greg.
That's sure I don't have 6 fingers.
You've got a beautiful view there, PYRO.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm in the northeast corner of Oklahoma on a little creek called Saline Creek now. I don't know what it was called before we got here, but Saline is French or for salt creek. They used to boil the water out of it in giant cauldrons, fit 10 guys in. Boil the water down, there'd be a few inches of salt in the bottom of it, and it was like gold back in the day.
So, oh yes.
Wow. So is all that water in it salt water?
It's salty. It is saline. It tastes excellent. You can dive in the bottom and just drink all you want. I didn't know you could drink underwater till I tried it one time. You get your belly too full, you just stay down there though, like a crawdad. So.
Yeah, permanently.
Now, is that your property or is that?
This is my family's land, our extended families. And when we come from North Carolina, they found that most of the the people that live together out there in the mountains, and stayed in the same areas out.
Yes.
Stuff. So yeah, it's all my family's land, extended land, cousins. In the summertime, there'll be 100 kids out here. You can't see the water for the kids sometimes. Jumping off the bluff, swimming. Yeah, we're hell on the crawdads in the summertime.
And Greg, are you in your cabin?
I am at the main cave on the porch toward the river. The river's off the hill right here, it's about 200 feet down, which luckily I got a road that I can drive down. But yeah, it's up on, everything's grown up right now. All the leaves is filled out and you can't see very far.
Yep. Yeah, it's starting to green up here, and everything is. I can still see through the trees yet. It's not as thick as yours, I see. But yeah, no, spring is here, and it's good. Now, PYRO, I have met you, I think, at least once, maybe twice at a couple of the meet and greets.
Yep.
And it was such an honor to meet you. I was just so happy that you agreed to come on the podcast and speak about your adventures in this crazy field.
Yep. My unfortunate, unwanted adventures. My introduction into it, anyway.
Yeah.
Last few years, it's been joyful meeting all the people and yourself, and traveling across the country and meeting others that have experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they discussed at one time. We're like the true 1%ers. There's not many people that get to experience stuff like this, or have the unfortunate problem of it. But maybe that's the ones that are needing to discover it, or bring it out to the others, or whatever. We're raised up, as Cherokee to be strong enough to take care of your fellow man and your families, and everything to do for others, not just yourself. So Carrie Arnold kind of brought that to kind of rang the bell on that the first time I heard him mention that, and stuff.
Yeah.
It sounded like the Rocky theme going off to me. The ding, ding, ding. It's like, here we go. We need to get into this. So I contacted him and going to be down, in Florida the next round. They were having there, and unfortunately we didn't make it. Didn't get to do that. But
did you ever get to meet him in person?
no, I didn't. I've talked to him a few times on the phone, sitting in the middle of mowing the ball field and stuff, and we had some good long conversations.
Yeah.
He was part in Choctaw as well, so I called him.
Was he?
I called him the Bigfoot Tim McGraw. he got out that. He can sing about like him too, or better. I play his Christmas songs every now and then when he played for us that one year.
Oh wow!
Remember that?
Wow,
it's pretty nice.
What a loss!
It was good. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And prayers for his family.
Yes. That's for sure. Now,
the rest of them, they say, we have to carry on, in his memory. So.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
You try to.
Yeah, everything's still out there. There's stuff he was looking for, it's here all the time, I believe. So.
Yeah, I look at, I go back and watch like Kerry talking about his encounter, and a lot of things that's happened to me weren't that vastly different from what happened to Kerry. I feel a kindred of knowing what he went through. I know how it affected. And I went a long time and wouldn't talk to anybody really. Dang sure wouldn't have went on the podcast. It took years before somebody finally conned me into it, and I went for years again and didn't do it anymore. And then I realized that there was people out here that had a lot of questions and was really, really suffering with it. And that's what made me want to talk to people. Is I knew there was people out there that was in the same boat I was, and at least if I came out, it may embolden them to come out and at least reach out and talk to somebody.
Yeah,
that's the people. Y'all. I mean, I tell people I like for people to listen to my encounters, but the reason I'm doing this is I'm hoping that I can find that person that needs somebody to talk to that understands what they're going through. I tell people, I'm not trying to prove it to anybody. I'm looking for the guy that already knows what it is. It's real, but they're struggling with it.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of my elders, that I meet, through the fire station, working there. They're come there, electricians, plumbers, whatever, and just ask them sometimes. We get to talking about hunting or fishing or whatever. We eventually I'll bring it up. If I kind of feel the right vibe from them. Have you ever seen anything out there weird or strange or whatever? And they get that far away, scared look in their eye for just a second, remembering it. And they say, well, yeah. Sometimes my partners has known them all their lives and didn't know that, they'd seen something or, right in the same area they hunted together or whatever, and they're like, never told me that, and he's like, well, I've never told anybody that, they're 70, 80 years old sometimes, and like, but they tell us some truly unique stories of, of them disappearing and, seeing, the white ones and just, them moving through space and no time at all. It's some really hair-raising stories that some of these people have. And if I see someone with a Bigfoot, I work on the ambulance service, all my life since I was 17. So if I see a Bigfoot like you do anywhere now, they're about 1 in 10 houses around here have a Bigfoot in the yard.
Yeah.
But I'll ask them. I said, what you got that in your yard for? And they'll say, or just kind of jaw at me or whatever, and just kind of laugh it off. And then they'll tell me their real story. Usually on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't bother them. I don't bother every patient. But sometimes people you can tell they're ready to talk or just whatever and get their mind off of their sickness or whatever. Or they're wanting to tell something before it's too late sometimes. And they're like, I haven't even told my family that, or whatever. And, I tell them my story. Or whatever. I said, I've seen stuff, I've had them holler at me, and so they're more than willing to come clean after that. So
Good.
I saw a guy a local guy here store this morning, and he had a boy with him. Now, I've known that guy too for years, but the guy that I was talking to start with, he and I have already talked. This guy's had some encounters. I mean, he's had several encounters, and he and I kind of stepped aside at that store, and we were talking, quietly. And the boy that was with him walked up and put it together what we were talking about. And he just kind of like looked at him, and he looked at me and back at him. He said, "I didn't believe in them damn things either till I seen one over there close to my house." And we both looked at him and said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I seen one cross our pasture." And he said it was several years ago, but I mean, that's just how it came about. And that was about 9 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. About 3 of my work buddies have, out of 30 people, about 3 have had, encounters with them in this area, all over, 17 counties of the Cherokee Nation, northeast Oklahoma to the Choctaw Nation, that runs into Texas after that. So, we travel quite a bit, and I've seen them, growing up and hunting and stuff. So one even has pictures on his phone of one crossing the field. So it's like, okay, that's, they're wanting to go check out these areas where, they've had them. Now that they found out I'm into it or whatever, some of the people were like, "Oh yeah, you're that Bigfoot medic, or you're that Bigfoot guy or whatever. You believe in Bigfoot." Yeah. And then these other people say, "Well, so I seen one too, or I seen something too, when I was growing up."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Let's go check it out." I'm like, "No." That's where they live, right there. I'm not going in there. But,
yeah, no, I'm not going to beat on the door unless I got to.
Yeah, if they threw rocks at you and about sunk your boat, and have a cave up in there, no, that's all right. You go poke the giant,
Well,
one of these days,
like right here where I'm sitting. I mean, this is y'all can't see it, but I'm sitting at my picnic table. This is the picnic table that a couple of 3 months ago that Flat Rock was here, sitting on right behind where I'm at. He was on the other side of this table, and one walked up to right here on the corner by the handle. It walked up right there, and he could hear it breathing. So he was about 12 feet, less than 12 feet from it. And Flat Rock didn't waste any time getting up, coming inside. And when he came in, I said, "What's wrong with you?" He goes, "There's a booger in your yard." And I went, "Did you see it?" He said, "Nope." But it walked up right here to the corner in the dark, and I could hear it breathing. Sound like a racehorse. He already right there breathing. And he's looking pretty good. Which I asked him, I said, "They don't come up that close to your place?" He said, "No, they don't come up that close." Yeah, it walked up with him sitting right here on this porch.
Yeah.
It was right there behind that post. It walked, that's the end wall of the house. So if you go down this, it's just the wall going back. Yeah, this is where it was. I've heard them come up on this porch a bunch of times. They'll come up, walk. I can walk on this porch. It doesn't make any noise at all.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear stuff out here moving around. And you hear the boards creaking. You hear the steps cracking and popping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And right here, matter of fact, right here, like I could reach with my left hand and touch it. This is where I had my big cast iron cauldron that had all the cooking oil where we done the fish fry.
Yeah.
When about little over probably 3 gallons of oil come up missing during the night. So I don't know if they just sucked it out of there. I don't know how they got it out of there, but they didn't spill a drop of oil in the lid. The big aluminum lid, it's this big, it's huge. The lid was picked up from the end of the table. The cooker was on the floor. He picked the lid up and put it over here in the middle of the table. The handle was sitting over here. If a dog or a coon or a possum or something got in it, you can't pick a lid that weighs 4 pounds up, set it over here on the table. But yeah, they was out of that. That was it's a 12-gallon cast iron pot, and the oil was dropped about that far. It was just gone.
Can you imagine the runs that he had after that?
Oh, don't you know? Yeah. And look, y'all, this is the same table that I'm sitting at where Sherry and Donna and Misty, and then Caitlin, Misty's sister, and her now husband, Hunter, we were all sitting at this picnic table right here that I'm sitting. Hunter was sitting on the handrail right here behind where move that. He was sitting on this rail right there by this post. we're out here playing board games and Jenga and stuff and laughing and cutting up. They stayed down here a week. And my Connex building is, let me turn this. See my Connex building?
Yeah.
To the side over there, that side of the Connex by that tree, we started seeing red eye shine. It looked like charcoals.
Yeah.
And we were watching that, and I was like, look, there's eye shine over there. Don't everybody look at once. Just, take a glance. Or don't everybody, turn and look at it. So we were kind of taking turns looking at the eye shine. Now, look, Sherry and Misty and Donna had done stomped all over this place looking for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Few days, and they knew every twig, everything out here, and I was in with her walking boot on crutches. But anyway, we watched the thing. It went around the Connex, and then it came out on the other side, and we could see it. And then the eyes, you get a glimpse of them going back through the woods right here. And there's an old log road that runs parallel right here. Well, everybody, we were hoping we was going to get it on recorders. Nobody was filming or anything. But Hunter is sitting on the porch trailer, and he's got his feet down on the seat down here. Everybody's sitting around this table. Well, we start hearing these leaves ripping. You can hear and there's a rock about that big comes flying out of the wood line. Now, this is like 2 or 3 in the morning. This rock comes flying out of the wood line, barely misses this porch post right here, and goes right behind Hunter's back, lands over here in the yard, and then bounces 3 or 4 times and goes down through the woods. And, it's like, yep, that's a booger right here. And, luckily for me, I feel really, really overjoyed that I've had so many of my friends or / extended family come, and it's been right here on this porch and had encounter. And I can't explain it to anybody. My daughter Abby, we were right off the hill right here at my boat about 2 weeks ago, and I started hearing something that would have been in the woods back. This is a ridge that goes back and then it falls off the river. We heard, and this was broad daylight. This was probably 1 o'clock during the day. I got my boat tied up on the bank, and I heard a couple of limbs up here in the woods. I heard a couple of limbs break. Well, Abby was going, "Hey, did you hear that?" I said, "Yeah, I heard it." Well, I'm messing with the boat, and she's standing on the bank holding the rope. Well, she's turned her back to me, and she's looking up the hill, looking up back where we're hearing that. Here in a minute, "Daddy, I just seen it." I said, "You did?" "Yeah." I said, "What was it doing?" She said, "Well, it looked like," she said, "You see that tree right up there?" She's pointing. She said, "You see that big tree?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That big tree," she said, "I seen something like it. Like, here's the tree." It's like it leaned out and went back, and then it leaned out again and went back. So, she saw something. I mean, she didn't get a good look at it. She said it was big and dark. She said it like peeked out around the tree and go back. And that's only been 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
What part of the country was it? They used to call them the hide behinds.
PYRO, I've heard that, but I don't remember where that was.
Yeah. I thought that was
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I stopped in at PJ's and Paul's on the way to the LBL, a couple weeks ago, just for a night. I split up my drive is 5 hours to their place out there on the other side of the Ozarks. And a weird thing, we live on the same parallel line, not a ley line, the parallel, the longitude latitude line.
Yeah.
He does on the other side of the Ozarks. To within a few minutes of each, north and south. So it's kind of
well. Now, were you the first person to spend a night in the cabin, or have they done stayed in it some?
No, Larry and Can Squatch stayed
Okay.
out, and they got a little bit of action out there when they were there. But what I got was one picking up the cobblestone, about that big, off of her hillside there, and going through it looking for something. For 30 minutes or so, I laid there listening. About 3:30 in the morning, I woke up. I told her on her channel and Rogers, the short from the LBL, that it was digging for something, looking for, bugs or grubs or something out there under them rocks. And then it started towards the cabin. About the time it was going to come under the cabin or up the stairs, when I went to praying. And It's okay. This is it. Something's fixing to happen. And as soon as I got done praying, a smash from up on the ridge where they hear them all the time, sounded like two rocks, boulders this big, smashed together and echoed through there.
Wow.
Where through the wall of the cabin where I could tell exactly where it was. And then everything just went dead, and I went out. But, they'd say
Wow.
they'd knock you out or make you go to sleep or whatever, but I think it was protection. It just, gave me peace, and I went out for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But that was quite the experience. I've never had that before. Having moving physical objects like that to where you could hear them and rolling the boulder down, and then that smash. So that was, and it didn't scare me, didn't bother me. We went out the next day and rode all around, where Carrie had been and camped, and showed me all the sights there. And that's a steep holler in there. It's tight in there. It looks big from on the videos, but it's it's not cramped. I mean, it's beautiful there with the stream and everything, but it's close. They can get close to you out there without you knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was out in Hanobi a few years ago, stayed at a cabin that has activity right at the cabin. And it was right there on the bluff. And it's pretty tight area in that holler, and then you can see pretty close to the other side. And fantastic area. I love it out there.
Yeah. I've been to the conference a couple times now, and I met the gentleman, the security guard that was working during the casino footage that captured, in Concho. And I'm friends with Dave Wilbanks that went out and investigated, for the ECBRO, the whatever organization they're with, Matt Moneymakers at the time, I guess. But we went out, saw the actual tapes of it. But I got to meet the security guard that said there was more than that going on. They saw it several times out there. So, very interesting.
Okay, so I saw that clip. So that's not the same casino that Chuck Schlobs and myself saw the running Bigfoot. I think that was further south, near Anadarko, I think.
Yeah, that's way south.
Yeah.
But this one comes walking right underneath a 10-foot street lamp and almost hits its head, on it.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. They said it looked like it had a duck to make sure it didn't, when it come under the light.
Cool.
My gosh, yeah. But they were probably up there raiding where they're probably throwing the food stuff in the dumpsters and everything else. I mean,
a giant grease trap, the ones you pour the grease in, the cooking grease, that, be, 300-400 gallons of it, there. So they said they watched it get in there and just, scoop up just like your pot, probably just drink the grease up,
You think about it, there would be all kind of, they'd be salt in it. Plus, I mean, just be nutritious for sure.
Yeah.
Some of that might be over there. They might go more surgery now.
Yeah.
I don't know that. But yeah, they will definitely. They'll definitely come to cooking oil.
Yeah. I put out our leftovers, cooking oil and stuff, out there, and the scraps I cleaned off the hog we cooked, and the gumbo and stuff out there, and it was gone next morning. It didn't eat all the deer meat because it was kind of fresh. Sometimes they say they eat putrid stuff, more than livestock. That's why they hang the deer in the trees and stuff and come back and get them later.
Oh.
Yeah, they like that aged meat.
Yeah. So.
Well, did you have a big adventure after you left the LBL?
Oh yeah. Yep. I've seen everything I've heard about. You hear in stories or whatever. I guess the whoops, the knocks, the lights. There was even people there started talking. I didn't hear any talking. Found a structure that looked like the asterisk, had 5 different interchangeable directions of of a teepee structure in there.
Wow.
I said if I ever find one of those, I'm gonna climb inside it, and I did. And
Really?
and to sit there and look back, there were sticks broken about a foot long in a semi circle there where it broken them and laid them there, just for something to do, I guess. We'll sit there however long. So
Wow.
pretty neat. I was like, man, I'm holding something that maybe something not totally this world held. At one time it was just it was a weird feeling. It watched the trail, one of the hiking trails there, and then it had its trail out the backside of it where it could go out without being seen. So it was. I got a 3D image of it. Got 3D images of Prince and Cass couple. Miguel of the Sasquatch Theory was out there. Me and him got along like bandits. We took it up everywhere I go. I meet somebody that just we just click off and like that. And the Ozark Wild Man, him as well. He gave me his giant megaphone to holler at the Bigfoots out here. I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, but I won't piss him off too much. He's like, here, you use this for fire department, for tornadoes or, whatever, and go out and call the critters, but you can hook it right up to your cell phone and play anything you want through it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I don't think I do that. I don't think I do that close to home though.
Oh no, no.
Oh.
But yeah, he played the shofar through there, and it got response, and you could hear it for 2 miles out there. That melodic, wafting of the shofar that's I don't know if it was the right frequency or whatever, but we did get some hoops back from it.
Yeah, they'll respond to it, but a specific frequency or specific pitch, they respond a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah.
It is what we experienced before with Kumbo.
Yeah, and I didn't want that. So
no, you don't.
It was hot out there with holly bush. I've never been around holly bush like that before. You couldn't go 5 feet into the woods there without getting tore up by it or poked 5 times with each leaf. That's a big prickly leaf there. But there was walking trails and the creek beds you could walk around without running right through it. But some of the trails there would go right into it, and then you could tell it crawled and kept going under them. It was interesting. There's a lot of stuff out there. And Kumbo was telling me on the last show that they've been seen there at the falls, standing up there by the waterfalls in broad daylight.
Wow. Now that's North Carolina.
In Tennessee, on the Cumberland Plateau, the Fall Creek.
Yes. Yeah.
Went out there with the group. The main people there was Joe and Jesse from Helmet Hollow. I've been following them for quite a while. I like the way they research. They just put out the thing on the LBL, the werewolf thing. It wasn't exactly according to Kumbo's tales, but there's another version of it. That was very similar. Yeah, I appreciated you'll be out there standing next to Kumbo while he's pointing out the trees, where this stuff supposed to happen, and all the sites he led us to and stuff. If we had to go around the road a couple of times before we found it, we like Roger was saying, we miss every turn in the LBL. We find it eventually. Roger put on a great summary of the weekend, with his video. Have you heard it yet, Greg?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you need to hear that. It'll make you laugh and chuckle and tear up at the same time. It's a good version of what happened that weekend.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. I've got to listen to it.
Yep. He mentioned you in there, and Spencer.
I'll tell you, man. Our meet and greet went down, awesome and great people show. It was just everybody had a great time. We had a crowd. We had a big crowd.
Yeah.
So, we got to meet new people, make new friends. And, good to see our extended family. We call them. The one. God and please gonna be there, and it was just awesome. There was a lot of people that didn't get to come that we wish could have, but we sure was proud of the people that did show up.
Yeah, we need to pitch in and get River up here one of these years.
Man, we may have to do a GoFundMe for River because it's gonna cost $2,000 for him to get over here. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if I hit the lotto, I'm gonna have him over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I told him, I said, man, if we can get him here, I told him, I said, man, there's a bedroom right here at the man cave. This will be home base, and we'll just go on a tour. We'll tour around for a couple of 3 weeks.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Wow. How much fun that would be. Oh my.
I've talked to him all night sometimes, and his tribe and my tribe have the same stories. You know, just call them different things.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, all the way in this Australia.
Yeah.
Oh
It's,
man,
you know, the correlation between, you know, our Bigfoot and their Yowies, and, you know, how they're really the same. Their behavior is the same.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
on the other side of the world.
Yep.
Well, I know one thing. I wish y'all had some of these carpenter bays out here that's drilling holes in my board.
Oh.
We've got PYRO. Do y'all have a bunch of them?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Out of a hole, you knock on the wood, and here they come after you. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, these out here, it sounds like a chainsaw running. They're chewing holes and sawdust is falling on my head.
Yep. Yeah. We just started getting the European hornets. Look like the murder
really?
hornets. I got stung by one a few years ago. I thought I was shot with a 22.
Oh.
Man, they hurt by
They
it.
hurt.
We've had them probably 25 years, and they're horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, their body will be big as my complete finger.
Yeah. They're mean. They're
Yes, sir. Very bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Not like some wasps will just go about their own way, you know, not bother you too much. But if you even start towards one or whatever, they'll get you.
Oh, wow. No, thanks.
So, Mary, how's things going with your group of folks? Are they having much activity right now, or what?
Yes, they are, just about nightly. Yeah, there's cameras up here that they've set up around the property, and it'll catch a lot of vocals and some shadows sometimes, the knocks and so on. But the property owners, they'll report, you know, seeing them going around, or, you know, running around, you know, behind trees or something. And it's very active up there.
Wow.
Just amazing, you know, the different things going on.
How many people have you got now, like in y'all's group? I mean, you've got a massive group.
There's, in the group itself, there's almost 20,000 people, but you know, you include how many here on the channel and on X, you know, it just rounded up to 20,000.
Yeah, like I knew it was massive. I didn't realize it was that massive, but that's awesome. But y'all have got a great group. I mean,
It is. Yeah, my administrators and moderators, they're fantastic. And in fact, got one of our moderators here in the chat, Patty Fry. She does a great job.
yeah.
She lends a little bit of humor also. So we love Patty.
Well, that water there is gorgeous. Look at that creek.
Wow. Oh, is that gorgeous?
It's about 12 foot deep out there. I was going to
Really?
tour around and get a little closer to my house. This area is we kind of leave it for the little people in the evening, you know. A lot of us still believe in them, you know, and I've my dad has experienced them, and they talk carefully. So, but sometimes it's a good omen, you know, when they come and around or whatever. A lot of times there are mean ones, so we leave this area to them in the evenings. But the creek just goes for about 10 miles to the lake, but there's caves, you know, everywhere up there. There's a little diving platform. It's just there naturally. It looks like a snake head sticking out. But we jump off that into the water. It hurts when you hit. It's so hard. You know, it doesn't look very high, but it's about 30 feet, so it hurts.
Wow.
If you land on your belly. But,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's
I'm just
rough.
going. Yeah, I'm just going to take a stroll down the creek back to our swimming hole. Let this place rest for the night.
Yeah,
That's pretty. God, it's pretty.
that's beautiful. Wow. Now, is the water cool?
Oh yeah, it's cold. It'll turn a white man purple. But yeah, the red horse, the suckers fish run in the springtime, and it'll turn black with them. Used to back in the day. We have poles, gigging poles. We go in and gig them with spears, with double pronged spears.
Yeah.
Feed families with them. Fill up boats so you can't push it no more.
Yeah.
The creeks. So
Wow.
there's not only a couple counties in Oklahoma that's still allowed to do that. So kind of like the Alaskans with the salmon runs,
Yeah.
But yeah, this has always been a sacred place to our family. There's more bluff up there. I don't know if I can't zoom in very well. I'm just gonna show it like this. I'm going, but there's caves, there's trails around that nobody uses or people don't use, but go up into those rocks there, and a few places that is kind of magical. We would leave,
Wow.
Yeah. That was probably home to people thousands of years too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick asks if you found any arrowheads there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's been civilization here, or people here for thousands and thousands of years. Tomahawks, just axes, spear points. Down the river, they find the mammoth tooths and the saber-toothed cat tusks,
Yeah.
and just, bison, just all kinds of stuff in the big river. But, it's another one of our swimming holes. Every few hundred yards, it makes another pretty swimming hole.
Yeah.
Another cave there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's pretty.
Yeah. Grew up all my life running every inch of the creek, for at least 5 miles. Knew every fishing hole and where the biggest crawdads were, and where the deer come down to drink. So used to hunt, grew up hunting and trapping all my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you have stories of the little people there also, or do you rather not speak about them?
We used to have to go look for my one of my cousins when she was little, about 4 years old, up till she's about 4. After that, they kind of left her alone, but she'd disappear for hours, out all half the day, and we'd go walk the trails and run the creeks, and like, oh no, where'd she go this time? And she'd come back and say, the little people. I was with the the little people, and said, but that mean one didn't want me to leave. He's like, oh, he said, we could see you. He said, you were right beside us, in the trails. And so their trails run right beside ours, and y'all couldn't see us. It was like they were invisible or something. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
PYRO, do y'all just pretty much leave them alone, or do y'all gift them stuff, or what?
Yeah, we leave them alone pretty much. They have strong medicine, stronger than ours. If they wanted to hurt us, they could. But they supposedly followed us on the Trail of Tears out here,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't, so their power would stay, strong.
Wow.
Nobody believed in them anymore. They said they would disappear. So it's a weird tale, but it's like I said, they come in physical form sometimes. So.
Yeah. Now, what do yours look like?
They look like people, like little Cherokee people.
Okay. Yeah.
With clothes.
That's the same around here.
Yeah.
They look like little Native Americans carrying bow and arrow or a basket or something.
Yep. Yep. Go down. Fixing to get some storms the next 2 or 3 days here. I got to cut the grass. Pick up some sticks from the last storm. We had a couple tornadoes the other night.
Yeah.
Fairly close. But that's Oklahoma. You get 30 to 50 a year sometimes.
Yeah, that's the way it is here. We get a pile of them here too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think later this week, Greg, you're going to be getting hit with some of those storms too.
Yeah.
They've kind of avoided you and hit Oklahoma and on north up to Wisconsin and Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings when they get diverted around.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember whenever we went out to Oklahoma the first time, it was in April, early April, and the lady at the campground, she said that, whenever the siren goes off, everyone go to the bathhouses. You'll be safest there. And she made sure, she emphasized, you go to the bathhouses, the ladies' room and the men's room, just get in there. You should be safe enough.
Yep. There was our hog pot set up, Greg. You were asking about the little barrels cut.
Yep.
Fire breaks already in them.
Saw that. Man, I had a ball when PYRO flew in there and went to help him cook, or he cooked his wild pork and pinto beans, and he helped me make jambalaya, and we all had a ball getting it's fun to make it cook. I just love to cook. And we had a ball at the hotel.
Oh, man, I missed your chili, Greg. You make chili like my mom used to make.
Yeah, if I'd have cooked another night, that would have been the deal. Would have been chili. So,
Yep.
Catherine's wanting to know how tall the little people are, PYRO.
Up to your waist, and then
Okay.
smaller. They can be, just chin high. There's like
Yarrington would fit in there.
There's not. I don't know if there's different breeds of them, but they can be anywhere. Some think they can shrink to go in smaller areas even. So it doesn't really matter. They can get in where they need to. They say. So who knows?
Yeah, anywhere.
Sounds like a Harry Potter situation. It's just something's unbelievable almost.
Yeah. If we can get Yarrington over there and we get him a tan, he might fit right in with them.
Yep. Let's show you our places and stuff, our caves and stuff. They're just everywhere around.
Well, right there'd be a good place for big flathead catfish slid up in there.
Yep. I found an old spear point in there. It had been lost off a spear laying under the ledge there one time. Oh, here's a pretty one. Here's some of our minks got some crawdads there. Those are good eating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Feature there.
Gary Spike said I was mean, wouldn't let him help cook. He's too busy. We had Gary doing what he was supposed to do. Gary was out. He was being like the welcome wagon.
Yeah. It's our rock ledges here. Well, all these come up, and there's a few fossils, but one layer. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it or not. A long time ago, something happened. The asteroid hit the Earth or whatever. But this one layer here is just full of fossils. Just the whole thing, the whole thickness of it.
Wow.
Can you see any of them? There's shells, there's seashells, there's just all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can
below
see
that, there's nothing for several more layers. So there was a big disaster there somewhere that killed everything for a while, for several thousand years.
Wow.
Need to get down here and leaf blow and burn the leaves off here. next few days, get it ready for summer.
PYRO, do y'all have a lot of snakes?
Not too bad. I used to go around and clean them all out, so the other kids could swim.
Yeah.
That was another thing. We were down here one year, about 20 of us kids, all cousins. And I was probably 10 or so. And a giant snake come up from the current this way, coming up the stream. Everybody looked and said, "Look, what is that?" And we thought it was a dog coming. It was so big, the head of it. And we was like, "No, it's a beaver." And then it come up, and we could see it had this, the body of it coming through, and it come right up that other side there. And there used to be a different, before we had a big flood, there used to be a bunch of trees there, and it went up in a little cove there. But it was giant. They have legends of giant snakes around here and stuff, and that was one of them. It sounds crazy, but it was probably, if I were to estimate now, a 30-foot black snake. It was what it looked like, 30, 40 foot.
Oh my.
It looked like I thought it was an anaconda. That's the only thing I had ever seen in size comparison to one.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if it was a spirit or what, just showing itself to us kids,
Yeah.
We all remember that. It was a weird occurrence.
Catherine, I don't have it wrote down. I'll try to write down my recipe on my chili.
Leftovers over the last tornado come right through.
Wow.
I got my tractor. Got it up and going for till the garden back there.
PYRO, does very many people there have tornado shelters?
Yeah. There's several. Every 10 houses or so, has one. We run to our firehouse. When it's for sure enough going to be coming, we can tell what track it's taking through the middle of the state down by Gary's. Like if it goes left or right, down there it's going to get us on the right side.
Yeah.
There's old Sweat Lodge.
Wow.
The Sweat Lodge, my family, or my brother-in-law and his son have a big Indian organization. They do that. And they have natives from all over the country come down, and they have I think it's in one of the pictures, the stomping grounds up there, and they have people from all over the world come to it. Africans and Mayans and the Arabians, everyone, and all of them have the same kind of dances and do the ceremony the same way, in ancient times. So
they're having a up here at the Oakville Indian Mounds up here, just out of Moulton, Alabama, between here and Moulton. They're having a big powwow thing in May. There'll be a lot of people there at that thing.
Yeah.
All they have a big festival thing every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to take us whenever we were young, but and they still hold them in the area. Just don't go anymore.
Yeah. They got some pretty big burial mounds right here. It's about crow flight's about 15 miles nearly due north of here. But it's a really cool place. It's on the side of a creek about like where PYRO's at.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you whenever the rains come pouring down and that floods, it's pretty nasty.
Oh yeah, it's 20, 30 foot high sometimes.
Yeah.
And just takes out the trees and changes the whole landscape of it, for a few years.
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes on and on like this, and you can go all day sometimes, like now, and you won't see a person, in 10 miles out on the creek. So, me and my grandson take full advantage of it and catch the brown bass, out there and just have a ball.
PYRO, many people kayak that or kayak fish it or
no, just me and maybe 5 others that I know of. I've only seen 2 or 3, in the summertime. Float very far in it, but you can just go on and on. They have an Illinois River that, you know, it's a commercial kayaking place, and the Elk River over in Missouri that most people go to, you know, to do big kayaking or whatever. But it's almost like private property the whole way, you know, so you don't see anybody else.
Wow.
It's Indian paradise, I guess.
That's paradise for anybody.
Yeah. Just hole after hole like this. The mink and the otter have made a big comeback and done a big number on the fish population, but there's still some that'll hide good enough.
Yeah.
Not good enough for me and my grandson. We pull them out of there.
Y'all may have to thin them out a little bit.
Yeah, we need to. I've caught several of them out here, and they get, you know, big enough to kill a dog. They get 4 or 5 foot long. So
Wow.
And we'll flat clean out a whole fishing hole in about 5 minutes.
Oh my.
I've seen them chase the bass out on the land, you know, on the gravel before.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we weren't talking about much about Bigfoot. I've just shown y'all.
I know, man. I'm enjoying this. It's like sightseeing tour.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. My first encounter was, my first hollering at was just about around that bend, another 100 yards. When I was about 8, my sister was 10, my cousin was 8. He's a day older than me. We were riding our bikes down through the bottoms at there and come into this field again on the other side there, about where the sun's setting, right about this time of night. And they just cut the field in the summertime, and you could smell it. It was beautiful, you know, hay, fresh cut hay smell. And it was probably 40 yards behind us in the trees, you know, and trees like that. So, you know, you couldn't see it, you know, unless it was standing right in the hole. But it hollered from that distance enough to blur your vision and, you know, just shake you like you were getting electrocuted. I've grabbed a hold of 220 one time, and, you know, 120 several times, and it feels just like that. It shakes you inside and out.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's what it did to us. And time we got our bikes up in the air and back the way we'd come from, I don't remember it quit hollering. It hollered so long and loud. I don't remember it stopping, you know. We were back across the creek, and before I remember, it wasn't there no more, you know. So so now every time I hear our storm sirens go off, or our water, you know, when they release water from the lake, you know, that initial that well up, that's what it started, just like that. So I stopped and listened for a half second and make sure it's not that again, you know. It's just,
Yeah, they'll fool you.
I'll never not stop and listen. Make sure it's not there. I'm like,
So how old were you whenever you saw your first one?
What's that?
I was about 5 at my house, and it was blocking out the sky outside the window. And I was wondering, why can't I see down to the creek across the yard? You know, it was just black. You couldn't see stars or trees or anything. You know, it was a real moonlit night. And I was looking and looking and looking, and finally I made the outline of it. It was the shoulders, as wide as my window there. You know, and I was looking at its head out there, and our house set up on little, like, 2 cinder blocks. And there was a wood frame house on top of that. So that was what I was seeing. It was the shoulders of it first, and it turned. It seemed like it took 5 minutes for it to turn all the way around, or most of the way around to where it could see me, and then it looked fast at me through the window. And it was that's what changed my life. That's why I check every field and, you know, every dark shape in the woods anymore.
Hey, once you see one, everything you look at, every dark object, everything, you have to protect it.
Yep. Try to set this back up here. I'll stop here.
Yeah, PYRO, I've tried to explain to people just how loud, you know, we hear people say they heard one and talk about it being loud.
Yeah.
if you've never heard one that's close enough, it absolutely shakes you to your bones.
Yeah.
You've not really heard one of what they can do. It's hard. You know, I've heard them. I've heard a bunch of. But you know, when you have one do that and they're within 100 feet of you, and it absolutely it's so it vibrates so hard it blows your vision. That's when it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The second time we were just about a mile from here up hunting, and I was 15 then, and we'd been shooting a hornet's nest out of a tree, shooting a limb, you know, to break it to get the hornet's nest down. And it was just cold enough. There were still a few flying around there, you know, finding us every now and then. We were out of shells before we get the nest off, and so we went back. We're headed back to the house to get more shells. But his mom rang their church bell or their school bell out there on the farm, and you know, you could hear that for 5 miles down the valley. So that meant it was time to come running. You know, drop what you were doing, fishing poles, guns, whatever, and come do whatever she wanted you to do. It's time to do chores or eat. So we were headed back down there, and I thought, let's go over this ridge right here on the way instead of just running down the hollow. You know, and so I've never been on that ridge before. He said, I've been through there. It's so brushy, you know, and just rocks everywhere, boulders. I said, there might be a cave in there. So let's run down through there. He said, okay. So that quick of a decision changed, you know, his life. We run up to the top of that hill as fast as we could. And right before we couldn't see down the other side, they started talking to each other in that Ghibli, that it sounded like a dog talking Cherokee to me is what I'd always describe it as, because it was just a and it's a da. And Jiska in Cherokee means scare you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to scare you, or you need to scare them. You know, it was telling the other one, you need to scare them because they're going to come over with this gun and see us. You know, it was just a 22. It wasn't.
Yeah, I've heard them that samurai chatter also. It's a weird speech. Very weird.
Yeah, it creeped me out when I heard those two talking that day. That was horrendous.
Yeah.
We've lost PYRO. I think he's froze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, he's froze up.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back for him.
Yeah, they but no, that's I hope to get. I talked to Kumbo here a while back, and we talked about maybe start doing a little traveling around at night and seeing if we can't call some stuff up. We hadn't really done much of it in a while, so hopefully go, and I'm gonna see if I can get Roger to come go with us and a couple of different folks, and just see what we can find. We, like I said, we hadn't been out really trying to call boogers in a while. So, which I don't do it here. We go elsewhere in North Alabama and do it.
Yeah.
We talked about going over to Northeast Mississippi and do some stuff, which that's not that far. You know, from Coonbows, we can go over there in 45 minutes.
Oh.
So it's not far by by any stretch. Yeah, they but yeah, Mary, I wish it had worked out. We could have made our meet and greet.
I know it. There were just some different things going on, and I just couldn't make it. I'm really hoping next year that. Well, I'm gonna try to get another camper. I really miss my truck, my camper, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get that set up again. Is what I'm working on. So we'll see.
Yeah. Golly, right now it's which I mean, I think this gas price thing's temporary. I think maybe things will settle down, it'll drop pretty quick. But
Yeah.
right now it just costs so much to drive anywhere, which is still not as bad as it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it'll equal out. It'll get low again soon enough.
Yeah.
Just gotta be patient. Yeah, I guess PYRO must. I don't know. Maybe his phone went dead. I don't know.
It may have went dead on him. But Yeah, I love talking to Pyro, man. That's
Yeah.
that's a good dude. I keep telling him he's going to have to come visit with me, so maybe this fall he'll get to come. I hope he gets to come and go hunting with me.
Yeah. He's a good guy. And I was so happy that, he was able to come on, and hopefully he'll be able to fix whatever technical problems are going. And
Yeah.
let's see. Mark says the gas prices are dropping in price there now. I think he's in. Oh no, that's not Mark. That's Jerry.
That's Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah, they're. I think they dropped about a dime here. So
Yeah. Ours is $3.99.
yeah,
I got some this morning.
yeah. We let's see. Okay, it's $4.04 here, but then you go over to Ohio. Let's see. We are. Okay, where's the favorites? Oh,
Golly, Jerry said it went from $4.19 down to $3.89.
yeah. Oh, I see that. Wow. Yeah, it's usually about at least 20 cents cheaper over in Ohio, and that's where we fill up.
$3.81.9. Yeah, I figure it's gonna come back down pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which I mean, hey, it always goes up in the summertime anyway. Golly, Gary Spock said $3.19 there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in Sulphur, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
around that area. Man,
I can't imagine. Could you imagine some of them people out there in California paying $7 a gallon?
that's insane. Insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would want to go into California anyways, but
Yeah.
yeesh. Yeah, where Gary lives, there should be a meet and greet over in that area. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chickasaw National Recreation Area. Beautiful area and really active.
Yeah.
Let's see. $6.89 in Southern California. Holy moly. Wow.
Wow.
Yes. If that's where you live, Renita, I'm sorry for you. Oh,
That makes me wonder how much of that's taxes. It's got to be a bunch.
yeah. $3.39 in Kansas. Yeah, well, it'll come down. It'll come down, guys. We'll be able to get out and travel. I know there's some areas here that I need to get back into. Plus, I want to get camping again.
Yeah. We had some great weather up at LBL. I mean, it was really nice.
Hey, you made it.
There he is.
Maybe.
I bet he went and did.
Hang on.
All right.
Looks like a booger's got him picked up by his heels.
Whoop. You're upside down there. And he's froze again.
Yeah.
Froze upside down.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, That's just the way it works when you're doing live shows. Always something's gonna go down.
Yep. Yeah, plus this little glitch, whatever it is, where I've got the two screens, for YouTube, and I had fixed that, I think, a couple weeks ago, and it was fine. And then all of a sudden, no, came back. So I guess I'm going to have to check that before every show. Okay, Patty says Chevron's thinking about moving out of California. They don't like California politics. I don't blame them. I don't like them either.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people in California that like the California politics. Patrick Noble was asking when the powwow was. It's sometime in May, Patrick. I'll have to check, but it's like first week or second week of May.
Hillary, I don't know. I think PYRO was having some issues with his phone, so but he went out again, and hopefully he'll come back right side up. Okay, he says, his phone went dead. It'll be about 5 minutes.
I bet you that's what I figured. His phone died.
Yeah. 5 minutes before it has enough power to run StreamYard.
Yeah. I keep hearing something over in the woods behind me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Go sit out on your, you're on your porch yet, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep an eye out behind you.
Yeah. Don't let nothing sneak up behind me.
No.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of limb breaks back there. Some leaves ripping. Could be anything. Could be a coon.
Lori says,
Trying to break out of the hospital, I think.
yeah. She was going to escape tonight, but no one would come get you all. You told the nurses. So they moved you to the room across from the nurses' station. Oh, sorry, Lori.
Somebody can send her a honey bun with a file in it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can send you one of those ladders. You hang it outside your window and climb down.
Yeah.
So, anything really major happen at the powwow? I know there were some issues with rules and regulations.
Well, yeah, our meet and greet, they FedGov, they changed up a bunch of stuff, and they decided that if you were doing like anybody that was like podcasters and stuff like that, that they kind of got you. Well, I understood Spencer. It's kind of nearly like a commercial type deal. We tried to explain to them, look, we're not making money. We're not charging anything. It's free.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, yeah, but if y'all do a broadcast or whatever, and y'all are set up, it's still a commercial type deal. So yeah, they changed a lot of stuff. I mean, we weren't able to start like T-shirts to sell to people or anything. We couldn't do that.
Oh my.
Yeah. So and then we got Spencer got it leased right before we reserved it right before they changed the prices. Apparently they're gonna go up on the price on renting that about threefold. So if we do it up there again, it's gonna cost about triple.
Oh my. Yeah, I told Misty that the way that I do it with mine, I go to a regular campground, and I advertise it months ahead of time, and I tell people you need to rent your own spot. You need to call reservations, rent your own camping site. Yeah, I'll be at camping site such and such. And, we can meet up at our, use my site as the main site to meet at. And,
some of the regular campgrounds, they don't want a bunch of people on one site, like huddled up. So
yeah,
that's the good thing about where we were at up there at LBL. Everybody could, like, we'd have a campfire,
yeah,
be 75 or 80 people around the campfire at one time.
right. Yeah, it's hard to find at least a private campground, willing to do that, and if you have your own property big enough to do that, well, then you may have some insurance issues.
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
No, I wish I could, if I could find a couple acres of land up there somewhere in Tennessee, I'd buy it just to have somewhere for everybody to go camp.
Yep. Yeah, there was a piece of property went up for auction right across the road from our research area. And oh man, if I would have had the money, I would have snatched that up and used that for campouts.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome. But it's way up in the northern part of Pennsylvania, and a lot of people complain who live in Pennsylvania, for, if they have to travel more than 2 hours, and I tell them, hey, I travel 4 or 5 hours just for a short trip for me. So, 2 hours is nothing.
Yeah, no, that's not far, 2 hours. I mean, we had Dave Roberts' buddy Doc. He came from Colorado, drove like 17 or 18 hours to come.
Yeah. Gary, I'd go. It's not too far from me. I've done it before. It's about 18 hours for me, but I would divide the trip up, and that's the only way to do it. But hey, whenever it's in an area that's worth it,
Yeah.
the drive, yeah, you do it. Just depending on how dedicated you are to going somewhere.
Yeah, that's I mean, it ain't that bad to have to drive 6-7 hours. And once you start doing the double digit hours, that'd get tough.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hillary, yeah, there we go. I'd happily carpool.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember how many. It's like 12 or 13 hours, I think, or maybe more, when Crystal and Solomon came down from northern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Down to LBL. It was a long way for them. Gary said 13 from his
13,
place.
14. Yep. Yeah, I would, the way that I go is I drive south down to I-70, and go across there till St. Louis, and then cut down into Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And but for LBL, yeah, I probably, let me think, I go out to Columbus, I think, and then go south from there through Kentucky on down to LBL.
Yeah. Let's go look at that. He said check out Sharp's Chapel.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Lori. Once you get to LBL, there's nothing too far to spend time with wonderful people. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're meeting up with a bunch of really great people, And it's worth it. The drive is honestly worth it. Patty doesn't like to travel more than 6 hours. Well, divide it up into a couple days of 6-hour driving, and eventually you get there.
You know, if for me, if I've got somebody that'll hold a conversation and not do like my wife and sit over and sleep, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Plus it keeps you awake too.
Exactly.
Occupied and awake. And yeah, let me think. Of the first time it was my sister and I, and it was fun. I think we stopped twice for like short hour and a half naps whenever we went out to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Stopped out in Ohio for about an hour and a half, and napped for that long there, and then again in Illinois, and that was enough to hold me over until we got to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Hear the crickets.
Yeah, I got one of them down there right here under my nose. It's like a 5-pound cricket.
Hopefully not a 800-pound cricket.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Lori was like a groupie at a rock concert. Yep. I know what you mean.
We had you got company behind me. I wouldn't doubt it, Gary. I kept hearing something over here right straight behind me, and I heard 2 limbs break.
Yeah.
About 4 minutes apart. I was saying they like to come up on too. As long as they don't snatch me off this porch, we're all right.
Yeah, whenever that cricket shuts up.
One thing about it, Mary, if one steps up right here in this porch light, your show will be an instant hit for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I know whenever they used to come around my house, all the tree frogs and everything, they'd be going, and then whenever they shut up, that's whenever I knew something was right there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's glance around, see if I see anything glowing. See, right here's where myself and Roger's son Peyton was sitting when looking straight out across the other ridge over the river. That's where we were seeing that orb that night. That's the only dang orb I'd ever seen here. I've only seen 2 orbs. Saw one here, and I saw one down there at Hollins. The one at Hollins, the first one I've ever seen, which I don't get out here looking for. But that one here, it was more of it was about like the light through a lampshade. It's kind of a tannish colored light, near like a candle flame. That thing was up pretty close. It was pretty high off the ground. I'd say it's probably 15, 20 feet high, but it kept getting further away, going up. It was like it was floating across the creek. And that thing would have been, if you'd went a straight line down to the water, it'd been 150 feet above the ground, above the river. It just kept going and kind of moved a little bit side to side, and it just kept going and went across the other hillside. But yeah, it was now the one I saw at Hollins was a super, like a deep, but it was a bright red. That thing was bright, and that thing came on like a Christmas light. It went from being totally black. When it came on, it didn't look like it was big as the end of my thumb, and it's like bloop, like it came on, And as I'm watching it, it just goes, whoop. It swelled up like it was about that big, not like a baseball, a little bigger. But I watched it; it actually enlarged. It was tiny, and it just whoop, and it stayed like that for a minute. It was just kind of like wiggling, and all of a sudden it goes whoop, blip, was gone.
Wow.
That was That was crazy. I ain't gonna say crazy, craziest thing I ever seen, but it was one in the top 5. And it was close. Now I'm talking about that thing was within probably 30, 40 feet.
Really?
Yes, it was close.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I've seen quite a few orbs, but none that close.
Yeah, it was creepy. I was standing there talking to Misty's husband, JR, and I was looking like past his head, like over his, it would be his right shoulder. And I just seen it was like a light came on, and then I watched it just go whoop, and swelled up, and it stayed, like I said, stayed that way just for a few minutes. It shrunk back down and went off. That was creepy. And that was about the orb that Roger videoed when him and Win Clan Ken, when they videoed that one. This would have been across the little road. Where I saw it would have been within 50, 60 feet of where they saw that other one about a year later. I think that's right. That was a different meet and greet. It may not have been quite a year, but it was a different outing when that happened.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's something, all the weird things that goes on, and who knows if they're associated with the Bigfoot or, what they are.
Yeah, I have no clue. But like I said, of all the encounters I've had with the hairy people, that's only 2 orbs I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, I don't plunder around out here not looking for them either.
No. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Misty says, Greg, I don't know if you realize it or not, but you seen that right after I walked up from the toilet shaking and thought it was.
That is right, Misty. I think that is right. Yeah, Misty was down there. She thought Billy was playing a joke on her, but Billy had then walked back up there where we were. She was down there by herself at the porta john, and she came back, had this weird look, and she said, "That wasn't funny, or y'all didn't pull that on me," something along that lines. And it was one of them deals of like, look, Billy's been standing right here with us. They didn't nobody shake anything. It shook the porta john with her in it pretty hard, I reckon. Yeah, they seen a red eye.
Okay. Yeah, PYRO may try to get back in.
That place down there at Talladega, it's creepy.
Is that your dogs?
It's the neighbor's dogs.
Oh.
See, I'm trying to read what. So I don't know what Hillary's talking about. There's two dead, 1 critical, and at least 30 injured. Still is. Leak some type of poison or something.
Oh yeah, there was a chemical something, maybe chemical explosion. I think, yeah, she's in West Virginia, I think. I know she was talking about it earlier.
Said it freaked her out. Shit, it freaked me out bad as anybody because I seen the damn thing. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Like I said, Jared was standing there, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't move.
There we are. There's
he's got more sunshine than I do, which he's a lot further west than I am, too.
Yep. Yeah, go bring your camera down, PYRO. There you are.
Oh, there I am.
Maybe
Different
plug in
phones.
your phone. Can you
Yeah.
plug your phone in?
I've got my other one on wireless charging, and this one's got about 3/4 battery, so we should
Oh,
be able
he's-
to get the rest. Should be able to get the rest of it.
all right,
I
good.
don't know if you see, but look, that's all the light I got left.
Yep. Oh, it's just about full dark here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to come up on the hill about a mile away, and the phone still won't stay charged, so I got on my work phone.
Ah,
We'll give
the
you.
fat one.
Yeah.
Hillary asks, why were you upside down?
Yeah. You got froze up a while ago, and you look like a booger and picked you up by your heels. She was like turned completely upside down on the screen.
I've been known to do that anyway. Topsy-turvy. Done rappelling and hung upside down like Batman, and jumped off the side of cliffs and gone down 100 feet in the lakes around here. Couldn't find them giant catfish. I was gonna get me one of them suckers. But
There was
wrestling match.
there was 3 people lost in the Bankhead Forest last night. And they finally found them about 11:30 last night. Got them out. We had three other people lost last weekend. They got lost Saturday and didn't get found till Sunday evening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillary says there was a chemical explosion in her area today. Charleston, West Virginia, they call it Chemical Valley.
Wow.
We have one of the largest industrial parks just 20 miles west of me in the next town. They said if it ever goes off, some of the stuff they have in there, it'll knock all the windows out in our town, and and almost level their town. So it's
Yeah, it wouldn't make me feel very, very safe.
yeah. We have to go over and respond on fires with all the departments in the county sometimes over there to some of those, and it's pretty scary.
Wow.
Yes, Misty, StreamYard is screwed up. They've got me on 2 screens, unfortunately, so it's confusing a lot of people. I know Gary had posted a link to the horizontal screen. You must be on the vertical.
Oh, am I sideways?
Nope,
No.
you're all good.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
you're
Misty's sideways. She's always a little sideways. So.
Yes.
depends on how wide open she is.
Drifting.
Yeah, StreamYard decided to play games with me tonight, so.
I'll have to go back and watch what I missed. Y'all talking about me behind my back.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
You want to show some of those pictures before
sure.
I lose you again? I got 2 bars on this one. Like I said, I come up on top of a mountain on my family's place. Our stomping grounds are just about 200 yards down there. If I had the key to the lock here, I'd go in there, but it's in my other truck. So show you the stomping ground. There's a picture of them there. I sent you. So
Yeah, there's a picture. Yeah, not all of the pictures could be loaded on here. It must be a different format.
yeah. I always have that problem. That's why I
Yeah.
hadn't been on Woodwalkers 2 years ago.
Yeah, there's only 5 that could be loaded.
5, okay.
Now, PYRO, can you see that picture? What is that?
I can't see it.
It looks like a light or orb.
A bright light.
The
A
one
black.
that looked like a
Yeah.
portal opening, about that
Yeah.
yay tall,
Yeah,
yay big around. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my partner, my buddy on the ambulance. He disturbed maybe a burial ground out there, making a deer plot. But he's got his feeder up there behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. He's got 3 or 4 different kinds of weird lights in the same area now. One like that's putting off its own light because you can see the feeder behind it, lit up. And then he's got the other. I sent the other one where the orb is like coming at you and turning. Kind of, I call it the shmoo. It's like a ball that is changing direction.
Yeah.
And then I got the beam beam me up Scotty when I call it, where the it looks like a beam of sunlight coming, straight down from 12 o'clock out there behind it. Just out of the blue. I don't know if all those other two loaded or not, but
Let me see.
they're pretty interesting. But that area that's one of the oldest areas in Oklahoma that was settled, from when the first, people come in, and they call it Old Spring Place down there. They follow the waterways and stuff.
Is that a ferry? That picture, is that a ferry or something? What is that?
That's yeah, exactly. What is that?
Yeah.
That's like a shapeshifter.
That's like a something. I don't know what.
Yeah, they call it the Fae, maybe, some people.
Oh,
That's a Fae, but
okay.
it's almost like our shapeshifters back when they use medicine or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't always let you turn all the way into what you're trying to do. If their medicine isn't right or strong enough, or, whatever, or the evil one just plays tricks on you, sometimes, because this entity was bothering this lady in her house, and she caught this leaving it after she blessed it.
Wow. It's amazing she was able to get a photo of it.
Yeah, it almost looks like the top of somebody's head, almost like my head,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with wings and a design to it. So I don't know.
Okay. Hillary asked, how big do those little critters get? I guess a fae.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't run around.
Yeah, I don't investigate those. I have friends who do, but
Yeah.
I don't. Whenever it comes to things like that, no, I pretty much stay away because it's trouble.
Yeah. My dad, when he was blessing our house a while back, we were seeing shadow people and stuff, quite frequently. My daughters and stuff were having like black flower or feathers left on their pillows and stuff. I've
Yeah.
never seen feathers like this. It looked like some kind of exotic bird feathers with dots and stuff on them, maybe even paint to them and stuff. So we took those to the medicine man. He said, that's, I know what that is, he took care of that. And,
Yeah.
Misty said it like
for it.
Misty said that fae looks like a fae with chicken legs. It's a Spencer fairy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like your knot deer or something, maybe too, it doesn't become the full, what it's supposed to be or whatever. And, I've heard stories that, the Navajo talking about their uncles, pulling their hands out of their jacket and they'll have dog paws, or whatever the medicine, didn't complete or whatever stuff. So
Yeah, it's gonna get really. If I'm talking to some dude and they pull out hands that look like dog paws, it's gonna get loud really quick.
yeah, that's time to pull out the sword and just lock them things off.
It's gonna be called the 357, and that thing's gonna bark.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, a lot of it's evil medicine.
I don't know what is the deal with that big rock. Where'd you come up with that?
Oh, the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big as the truck bed or the tailgate.
Yeah.
That come out of the ground about 10 feet in the ground in northeast Oklahoma.
Wow.
Somebody buried it for a reason. It used to have more of a body, almost like an Easter Island.
Oh.
They were thinking the bottom it's got a jagged crack in it where it, used
Wow.
to have a body to it. It may still be there. They just found the head of it
Oh
several
my.
years ago. Kathy Strain, looked at it, and the guy Jeff Meldrum, he looked at it, at Hanobi down there at a conference. The guy took it too.
Yeah.
A friend of I know the guy down their way, and they said it's volcanic rock. That whole thing weighs about 5 pounds. I picked it up and about threw it over my head because I thought it was going to be 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was like styrofoam almost.
Oh.
It's volcanic rock from somewhere.
Oh.
I'm not sure. There's no
Wow.
volcanoes around here for a few million years at least. So
Yeah. Scott Walter would be the one to show that to.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that he had a TV show.
Unearthed in America.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. You haven't seen.
American Unearthed, something like that.
Yeah, he explores or examines the rocks for historical.
Yeah, he's done several shows in Oklahoma about the rune stones and the the Viking markings and the even
Yeah,
out in the Panhandle. There's a cave there that on the solstice the sun comes through the hole and shows their old way of I forget what European or people it was Celtic. It
yeah,
shows
Yeah.
the old way of they sacrificing cows and stuff to their new religion. So when it moves, it shows the old to the new. It's an awesome. It's like that's out in the middle of flat, nothing flat, everything flat out there, but at one cave. It's like how they find that, and know to do that, It's pretty
okay.
crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know much about Dogman other than I don't want to deal with him.
yeah, Ray. I've no idea. That sounds pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Dog man with a hyena face. Jeez. Wow.
Maybe, I guess more of a shorter snout, maybe.
Maybe.
I've only heard one story of Dog Man, and a preacher asked me because he knew I was into Bigfoot, and I took him and his wife down to Hanobi a few years ago with me, and they were like, nobody talked about Dog Man, and they said he was saying like someone else seen him, but I think it was him that saw him cross the road in front of him, up there where he lived, because he was, you could tell he was bothered by it, talking about it. So it's like, I don't know. And, I think it's magic, your Indian medicine. So
Yeah, let's see. Scooter says your stone there is pumice. It will float volcanic glass.
yeah, she
That
believed it came from Arizona or somewhere in the Southwest. The old Cherokee belief was that we come from South America, before our own continent was destroyed, and landed there in South America and come up through the North America and then settled where we are now, but left people all along the way over 18,000 years.
Yeah.
Is our origin story. But before the destroyed continent, there's no history of that. It's all oral history.
Yeah.
Some say the Pleiades, the seven sisters.
Oh,
Where
yes.
they come from. There's the museum in North Carolina has a lot of those stories and stuff, and you can look at a lot of it online. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, here's a picture of boy. You can see what three or four Bigfoot in this in the green trees.
The faces there.
Yes.
The pink one, the one with the pink face is white. You can see it's white fur if you zoom in on it close enough.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but and then the other forming. I have a series of 3 photos of that, and they're coming in and out. They're forming differently. They look different, all 3 of them.
Oh.
The one there looks like a Greek, like a Greek god, like a picture of Zeus or something to me.
Huh.
Wow.
That come from a guy in southern Oklahoma that was saying, I feel something weird, there's something down there, I can't tell what it is. I just started taking snapshots of his video on my phone just so I could blow them up and see him good. And I saw that come up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I sent him to him, and he went silent after that. He's like, nope, I'm not going to deal with that. That's not what I'm after. So,
Yeah.
No. Yeah, can't really blame him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He could tell that something was there. He could not see it, 40 yards down in the valley in the hollow from it.
Yeah.
It's like, here it is, just to do it with your phone. He couldn't get it to do the same thing. So is it pareidolia? Changing colors, pink with white, fur and the faces in the trees changing. It could be.
That don't sound like pareidolia, does it?
No, it doesn't to me. It doesn't look like it either.
No, it doesn't.
It's pretty interesting.
And then
our beliefs, the way we're growing up is the spiritual world isn't any different from the physical world. You know, it's all the same. It's all together and separate. You know, it can come and go. You know, beings and with the medicine and stuff. The whole ways it's all here.
Yeah.
Now, this picture, it's like a table turned over or something out in a field. What's that?
I don't know. It looks like a night vision.
Okay, that's the feeder, the deer feeder.
Oh,
What's around it?
Something white.
It's like a big streak of light coming to the ground.
Yeah, that's the one I call Beam Me Up Scotty. That's the
Yeah.
one taking that dark with the beam in the background there. That beam's about 50 yards
Like
there
this one.
behind it. Just
Not to this.
that's not the noon sun.
It's like a streak of light coming down.
Yeah, the noonday sun doesn't show straight down around here. You know, it's always at an angle over there. So, and that's at 6, 7 at night, I believe. That's another thing caught on his trail cam out there. And what set it off? What set off the camera?
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a special area that I'm not going to camp in anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
He kills hogs back there that one he shot 3 times and he watched it die and then went to a ball game, come back to haul it off, and it was gone. Just a blood spot there, no drag marks, no nothing, just totally disappeared. With a 300-pound boar. So it's like, okay. It's different.
Wow.
Yeah, that's something. All the mysterious things going on, and no answer to them. We just don't know what they are.
Yeah.
No, a friend of mine, she's from the Iroquois tribe, and she said that their legend says that the Bigfoot, let me think what she says, they're called the people who stand on the rim of the world.
Wow.
And that's what they call them. And I think I've heard similar from other tribes.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how they're supposed to protect the world, or if that's like that one walking on the edge of that mountain. They got caught on film. That's how they catch them sometimes.
Yeah.
Standing in the highlighted, behind them or something.
Yeah.
Standing on the world seeing from afar. But,
yeah.
Yeah, the Cherokee word for them means the ancient people.
Yeah.
Oh, winner! Chicken dinner.
I.O. Silver.
Yeah.
Somebody from Florida is calling me up. We'll talk to them later. I'll leave them a message.
Well, that's what they used to call me and my buddy growing up since, from kindergarten. His family moved down here from Michigan when he was in kindergarten. We hit it off from the first day. So that was who I was with shooting at the hornet's nest. Told you the thing was talking Cherokee, sound like talking Cherokee, like with a different language. But after we run out of there, it shook us again the same way. We ran out, went home. His dad was working out in the field, with the horses. We're like, did you hear that? You had to have heard that because we thought you could hear it for 5 miles. It was so loud, down that valley. And we were bloody after we come out of there. I'd gotten stopped by a pack of greenbriers around my waist, and I just grabbed them with my bare hands and just snapped them, like 10 of them together. I couldn't move no more, and I just looked down and saw them there, and I just grabbed them and just kept going. We were so scared and running so fast there.
Wow.
Yeah. Fear is a motivator.
Yes. But he had the gun. And I was like, "You got the gun?" And he just threw it over his head, and I caught it on, in 2 steps behind him. Just kept it going out of there. But he went back about a month later during deer season to the ridge where the nest was, and the nest was broke off of the tree. It's not where we were shooting it. It was broke off the tree and laid at the base of it. So he took it home. He put it in his house, in his room. When it warmed up, all the wasps come out of there. There was 1,000 waspers in his room. And we had to go wall through the upstairs and kill them all. You know,
Oh,
it was just black with waspers in there once they heated up. It's like,
oh no.
they played a trick on us, you know, like, here you go. You want this?
Yeah. Wow.
Buy yours.
Yeah, that's, boy, we still got a lot of those,
Mark.
we got a bunch of ball face hornets here, and man, those things gonna eat you a lot.
Yeah, I keep checking around. There's another place 2 years ago I rode up on, and I was thinking about, you know, where am I going to hunt today? You know, or feel or remember, you know, old hunts up and judge which way the wind's blowing and everything. And right around the corner there, one broke and run, and I could hear him there. You know, we don't have elk in this area.
You're breaking up, Pyro.
Oh. How about now?
Yeah, maybe
Let me see.
yeah, get closer. Whoop, we lost him.
See if I can turn this light on. I'm gonna mute this TV. Walk back in. I'm gonna show you. This will be probably about what he was talking about, getting a nest. My brother found this one last deer season. Got this hornet nest for me. Oh, let's see here.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Hornet nest.
Yep.
Thank God that one didn't have any hornets in it. We made sure on it. I brought it in here and put it in two big garbage bags, and made sure I tied it off and brought it in here where it was warm. That way, if there were some they tried to get out, they were contained.
Yeah, no thanks. So whether they're in there or not, I wouldn't be bringing that indoors. Nope.
It's just cool looking something, you know.
It is. Okay, he's trying to get back in again. Let's see. There we are. Oh, kind of. He's trying.
I knew you could do it.
Am I upside down?
Nope. You're right.
You're upside up. Not inverted.
Yeah. I always look around out in the woods. There's an old mule that bellowed down the way and a peacock that hollered, you know, down the hollow, and the old gate here creaked a little bit ago. So I'm not always that jumpy, but when I talk about them, I am a little bit, you know.
Well,
see what's
I understand completely. I understand completely.
Yeah. It kept me from being in the woods, you know. I
got to get
out of the year for deer and, you know, fish the rest of the year. So
I've decided it's coffee time.
Oh, that's right. You're a night owl.
Oh yeah, I'm usually in the bed by 4 o'clock in the morning, whether I need to be or not.
Yeah, that's usually about what time River calls, about 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like his
That's about right.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's 14 and a half hours ahead of me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, man, I love talking with River. I love it when he calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Yowie Dan on my show a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows River.
Yeah.
And, it was interesting listening to him because he and we've been friends online for, I don't know, about 10 years now. And
yeah.
I really want to get over there one of these days.
I would love to go. River keeps telling me to come over there. I just can't figure out how I can get there without an airplane or a boat that I got to get a long way from land. So, I'm just not much on that.
Yeah, until the land bridge comes back.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah, I would love to go though, because you could go over there and hang out with River, and you get to see stuff that most people would never, ever, ever get to see.
Yep.
I mean, that's heck. I'd like one of these days to get out there around Oklahoma, like where PYRO's at, and get to look around.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Keep
You're
saying,
welcome.
yeah, you just hold a camp out or meet and greet over there, and either yours or Gary's, and boy, we'll get over.
Kumo's gonna be up this way in June at the Clayton Bigfoot Museum, so we're gonna go
Yeah.
camp out the lake out there.
How far is that from your place, PYRO?
It's about 2 hours. It's down there, kind of close to where I guess they're saying it's dogs that attacked that lady now, out there on that ranch. That
Yeah.
big story they were saying. She said it was dog-like, something that attacked her. But
Well, they're thinking now it's just dogs.
yeah, they were saying it's domestic dogs, the DNA. So
Golly. We had a lady here that I knew. She was over the health department, and she went out on a call, and which she was over the health department for 3 counties here in Northwest Alabama, and she went out on a call to talk to some people about something, and there was a pack of wild dogs got her. This has been about 3 years ago, and she lost her life. Those dogs got her, and they mauled her, and when they found her, she was torn up really bad.
yeah, there's been a few of those cases in Oklahoma, and I've seen a few packs, before and took care of them in the woods.
Yeah,
The dog by itself isn't that bad, but a chow or with the pit or something, they'll get together. They know where everybody lives, when they bark, and they'll get together and go out and run deer.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
One dog alone won't do it, but 2 dogs or 3 dogs, they're a problem.
Yeah, they're pack animals, and they're the most dangerous then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wild dogs they're dangerous. Everybody worries about coyotes and stuff. I'm more afraid of wild dogs, just domesticated dogs that went wild.
Yeah. And they don't only have to live out in the woods full time or be wild like that. We know where some of these dogs live, and they just get together and and do that. Just roam around in packs.
Yeah.
There's not like 20 packs of wild dogs around like wild coyotes. They live somewhere and are fed. These team up together.
Yeah. It's bad when you're in the South when you have to get you a glass of sweet tea waiting on your coffee to make.
All right. Is that all the pictures that would load?
Yep. It was just the 5.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Little sample. I
Yeah.
got a strange file with about 60 pictures in it that, I'm not all sure what it is. So
Right.
Yeah.
a few of the better ones anyway. Yeah. The rest were just my grandson catching his giant bass. Greg showed Greg that. His deer and stuff we get around this area. That's the reason I get into this more or whatever is for him, because he's going to be out here, doing it on his own one of these days, and stuff, teaching his kids and, the grandkids, hopefully.
Well, PYRO, that's like with my children, me trying to explain to them and them growing up, like Abby, Colt going to college, he don't have time to spend much, like going to meet and greets and stuff like that, which he's been out with some, and he's heard them whoop and tree knocks and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of my kids are growing up learning about this, from birth. I mean, I've been dealing with it longer than my kids have even been alive.
Yeah.
So they got a little extra heads up that most people don't have. I'm trying to teach them everything I can, and they're more prepared. Maybe they can carry the torch and figure something out that I couldn't one day.
Yeah. And you never expect it to happen. It's almost like seeing a giant buck or something. Just all of a sudden there it is one day. 5 generations of us on our land here. And nothing like that come about. Come around, and then our generation. It's happened to me twice. With other witnesses. Other people with me and stuff. So the one time when I was little, one come up within 40 yards of our house. We were having a potluck dinner with, 30 of our relatives, there that night and stuff. And we all saw it then when I was a little kid. And my granny, I can picture her that didn't know, but she knew medicine or whatever, the good side of it. Can heal, earaches or wounds or anything, even internal bleeding and stuff. She was a healer. But she went out and met it on the road coming to our house and rebuked it, in Jesus' name, and sent it away. It turned and went back. We believe some of them are being used by evil forces and stuff to bother like that. And this one definitely was.
That's the part, PYRO, that I've tried to explain to people. I don't know how you're going to tell them until they do something, which ones are good and which ones are not.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like all of them's good because these didn't treat me very kindly for a long time.
Yeah, me neither. Is that whippoorwill too loud?
No, nope. We have a question for you, PYRO. We have a question for you.
Yeah.
Does your tribe talk about Dogman at all or other cryptids besides Bigfoot?
Very little. Very little. Have you seen the last movie The Rock did? The Big Red One or Red One or whatever, the Christmas movie where he's like the Santa Claus's enforcer?
Yes.
You remember the beach scene where he's like, "Don't say her name, don't say her name."
Oh,
and
yeah.
they say, Cruella or whatever her name is, and she's like, bing, and turns around and sees them and gets them.
Yep.
That's how we when you talk about them, is how we feel they see you or know you.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you give them that attention, that it's there. So
yeah.
It's a different power.
Exactly. It gives them power, and that's whenever trouble comes.
Yeah, we know ways to protect ourselves. Just prayer. And we do use cedar and smoke, and some people use sage.
Yep.
The Cherokee didn't have sage out on the East Coast, so we use cedar.
Yeah, my dad would used to put tobacco out.
Yeah, and tobacco. Yeah, the ancient one they call that. It's like the original plant that gives power to all other plants or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called WENCH.
Wow. Yeah, that's, what? Don't hear many people here talk about things like that, that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here in this community, it's still pretty strong, not as strong as the Navajo and some that, are more isolated and, whatever. This, the Cherokee Nation's pretty modern.
Yeah.
We have, several towns and contribute, tens of millions of dollars, to the communities and stuff. We're pretty well established, and the old ways are kind of falling away, so the medicine's getting weaker. The language is now coming back into schools, and they're having just whole, classes from the last 25 years, taught nothing but Cherokee, so they learned it again,
Oh, well, that's good. At least they're trying.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, up here it's there's the Seneca Reservation, and there's a lot of the other cryptids there besides Bigfoot. There's a lot of little people sightings and a few other things that I'm not even going to mention. Just some nasty stuff.
Yeah. I don't care enough about dealing with all that.
No,
I didn't. I try to tell people I didn't go looking for these things.
Yeah.
They found me.
Yeah. Well, there's bear out here and cougar and wild hogs and stuff, but we have enough with the the real physical world, and something that might be, 10 foot tall and may or may not want to hurt you. So
Yeah.
we don't know about that too much, but like I said, a lot of people don't talk about it. So, but a lot of people have experienced it. Like I said, a lot of the elders and stuff I talked to.
PYRO, like the elders, y'all's elders and stuff. I mean, is that something that they kind of guard amongst, kind of keep it amongst the tribe, or are they?
Yeah.
How open are they with the public about it?
Not open at all. Like I said, some of them take it to the grave or whatever. It's almost
Yeah.
like if something's bothering them like that, or a spirit's coming around, it's almost like a weakness, a sign of weakness to that family or whatever. Something's attacking them, spiritually, and so they kind of take their own ways of protecting against that or whatever, and don't mention it to everybody else.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it was like if there was something that if you weren't a tribal member, if that's like, look, we don't tell everybody, it's amongst us.
Yeah, not a lot. I've only heard one other a Choctaw man at Hanobi talk about the dog men, and he was talking about his tribe down in Alabama and place, and they were there, still are, I guess, but he said they created dog men to fight the Bigfoot in like a war, because the Bigfoot were killing the the humans. And he said God himself had to step in and separate the three, tell them to stop, warring against each other.
Wow.
So that was the first time I'd heard that, and it blew my mind. It's like, they had them shapeshift into dog men, to fight Bigfoot. So
Yeah, I've wondered a bunch of times if they get along, don't get along, how that shakes down. Because for me, I just figured that they probably don't get along too good.
yeah. I don't think this thing's got a light on it, but are we about done for the evening? I don't have.
Yeah, I think so.
I know a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
It's 9:30
my head's kind of scattered.
and it's dark there. We can't even see you anymore.
Yeah, y'all, I got to make some phone calls too, but I have enjoyed it, y'all. I really have.
Well, it's
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed it. All our
yeah.
friends out there that have.
Yeah, I
Comes
mean,
Venus over there.
look at there. We may not have talked about nothing crazy and scary, but at least we got to talk, hang out.
Yeah, didn't
Yes.
give no answers. Everybody says, talk to the Indians or whatever, they know it and stuff. Is like, nope, nobody jerked us aside and told us about these things. We kind of handle it as we go.
Yeah.
That's all anybody can do.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate both of you coming on very, very much. And we got to do it again.
Well, yeah, I just appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you. And
maybe we'll see you out there in the woods somewhere one day.
hey, there we go. You never.
Well, y'all take care and big love, everybody. And we'll.
All right. Thank you, guys. And yeah, we'll talk to you later and on one of the other chats, probably.
Yes.
All right. Good night.
See y'all.
All right, guys. It's after 9:30. And it's late for me. I know Greg, he's a night owl. And unfortunately I'm not anymore. Used to be. Sorry for the mix up, guys, with StreamYard. It's what show are you gonna crash next? Yeah. I don't know who's on now. Okay, you had a skinwalker encounter. Oh, whew. No, thanks to that. I don't. Whenever it comes to the other, I don't research those other creatures, cryptids. I'll listened to stories about them, but man, I have no desire to see any of those other ones. Bigfoot is enough. Bigfoot's crazy enough for me. We're running amok. We're going crazy. Oop, okay. Okay. And let me get on. Let's see. All right, hold on. There we go. Okay. All right, Swamp Dog. Yeah, I'll send you a message. Let's see. Okay, I just now subscribed to your channel. And other than that, I really don't know how to. But yeah, tell you what, let me get on here into our chat. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'll give you my email address. Ooh. Okay, let me double check. All right, there we go. See if I come up. There we are. Okay, there's my email address, and that's for anyone. Anyone's welcome to message me. You know, if you have an encounter that you want to share, and you want, you know, someone to talk to who can. Yeah, I don't know how much I can. I don't know how much I can help, but at least, hey, I'm an ear who listens. Okay, Hillary, yes, go reheat your Cuban sandwich. And go find another podcast to crash. Tell you what, guys, love y'all. Thank you so much for coming on. And it was a great, you know, I love having PYRO and Greg on. You know, it's both of them such great guys. Love them both. Respect them both immensely. But let me check my calendar. I know I have, let's see, next week I don't have anyone. But let's see, okay, May 27. Yeah, May 27. I have Mark Green. So probably both of them, Mark and Rebecca, will be on. So that'll be nice. Oh, it's Duke. Did Duke come on? Aw. Where is he? Jeez, I must have missed him. Oh, there he is. Hey. Good to see you, Duke. It's been a while. And unfortunately, you always seem to come on at the end. Aw. Miss talking with you. But hey guys, sorry, my energy level is rapidly dropping here, and so good to see everyone again. I'm just doing that Southern goodbye. All right, here we go. There. Whoop. Okay. All right, guys. Good night. God bless. We'll see you next Wednesday. Monkey Wench out.